Here we have my 2024 Jeep Gladiator. Jeep had the brilliant idea of stuffing in their gutless minivan engine they've been selling for now over a decade into their star pickup truck they brought to market. This thing makes 285 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque, and by today's standards, that's laughable. So what does anybody do whenever they know that information? They throw on a set of heavy Falcon Wild Peak RT01s in a 38 1350 R20 on top of a 20x9 gear off-road wheel to really make matters worse. One would think you could install a cold air intake to try to make up for some of that lost power, and even a Rumbly Boy dual exhaust. Let me let you in on a little bit of a secret. It didn't work at all. All we're left with is not being able to talk inside the car because it's so obnoxious. All that to say, that leads us to the review of the Red Rock dual exhaust for the Jeep Gladiator, and why my factory exhaust is back in my truck bed, just begging to be put right back on. It is so droney inside of the Jeep. I'm going about 60 miles an hour, but I'm seeing 8th gear. Normally, I'd be recording this in the Jeep, but go figure. The Jeep in the shop for a warranty claim on the drive shaft yoke where it's decided to start cracking. More on that in a later video. So, the Red Rock dual exhaust. Loud. Very, very loud. So loud and droney on the inside of the rig that I decided to throw the factory exhaust back on. Originally, I thought it sounded pretty decent when you were accelerating and kind of giving her the beans or the sauce, whatever you have you. But once you were at highway speeds or just moping around, it was nasty. But like, in a bad way. So, it got to the point where even my own wife wouldn't ride in the Jeep with me anymore, which ultimately isn't that big of a deal since I hate driving it too and we take her car everywhere now. But that's beside the point. Installation was very, very easy if you just had an assortment of some common hand tools at home. And it took me a little over an hour in my gravel driveway to get it done. It could have took me a little bit less time, but I decided to remove my spare tire from underneath the Jeep so that I could reuse the factory exhaust if I ever decided to put it back on, which I am. Otherwise, you'd have to cut the factory exhaust in half in order to get it out from underneath the Jeep. Originally, when I bought the exhaust from Extreme Terrain back in April of 25, the cost was a hair over $370 with taxes. At the time I'm recording this in July of 25, it is now over $410 for some weird reason. Granted, the good name brand exhausts are now running over $1,000 for either Borla or Corsa, but those brands don't drone nearly as bad as the Red Rock does. Like, I had a 2022 Jeep Gladiator a few years back, and I put the Borla attack system on it, and there was nowhere near as much drone as this Red Rock system has. If you're wanting a cheap exhaust just to be heard, or don't care about how it feels driving around when you're on the inside of it, the Red Rock dual exhaust is perfect for you. I personally got tired of it extremely quickly, but that's just my take. Re-listen a couple of times on here and ultimately make your decision. Don't just let the redheaded ginger dude on the internet make a decision for you. But for me, I'm going to be leaving my factory exhaust on until I can sell a Jeep, and I put a link in the description on where I bought the exhaust if you'd like to buy one for yourself.